Hello, welcome to this video on the 16 mark question for Unit 2C, your hypothesis question, the big one at the back of the paper. So you'll have a choice on this, choose the one that you think you can do the best job on. And what you have to do is you'll have to judge the relative importance of a number of factors for a given argument and give developed detail on each of the factors that you cover. So this will be clear when we look at an example, and you need to reach a conclusion about which you feel the main factor is. So let's have a look at our question. Was the National Recovery Administration the most important feature of Roosevelt's New Deal, 1933 to 41? Explain your answer. So I'm going to have to evaluate how important the NRA was, and I'm going to have to look at some other factors and decide what the most important feature of the New Deal was. So they will give you 2 bullet points on your paper for each of the options that you can answer. And this one is offering me the NRA and measures to help farmers. Now, I want you to pay attention to the language used in this question. You may use the following, and you must also include information of your own. That's a massive hint. You're not obliged to use those 2 bullet points, though I don't see why you wouldn't unless you know nothing about them. But you must add something of your own. That's absolutely essential, and the mark scheme, time and time again, will cap you in various bands if you don't have an additional point beyond those 2 that they give you. So the first step is to add at least one additional factor to the 2 bullet points. Think of some other important feature of the New Deal in the purposes of this question, and perhaps decide early on your order of importance. That will help you make statements of relative importance, which is what you need for the top marks. So I'm given the NRA, I'm given measures to help farmers. First thing I'm going to do in my exam paper is I'm going to write down, I'll do the Social Security Act. I think that's a really important feature of the New Deal, and I'm in fact going to call that my most important feature. I'll go NRA in second place, and I'll say that measures to help farmers are not as important as the other 2. And let's have a look at what that does in an answer. Because step 2 is each of my bullet points in turn, I'm going to explain them. I'm going to make sure I stay focused on the question, which is how important they are as features of the New Deal. And I'm going to use topic sentences to indicate the relative importance of each of these factors. That's an efficient way rather than having to write a separate conclusion. So, the NRA was an important but not the most important feature of the New Deal. My topic sentence immediately sets out that there's a sense of relative importance here. It's more important than some, it's less important than others. I then give some detail on what the NRA does and how that's going to be important as part of the New Deal. If you've not read it, pause it, read it, and then move on. My second, efforts to help farmers were less important to the New Deal. The AAA was set up to boost farmers' earnings. Now, I've explained what it does, and now I'm saying why it's not as important as the NRA, because it can't serve as a long-term feature, it's a short-term measure. That is my criteria for saying it's a less important feature. I've already established that this comes second place to the NRA. Then, my third factor, saying the most important. So I've put that top of the pile. I now have a very clearly explained 1, 2, 3 in order of importance, and my criteria remains that because the benefit system lasted longer than the others, there was a big change in the way the USA was run and what the government did. That's clear justification for why this is the most important. You can emphasize in your conclusion the way that you have ranked the factors and the reasons why you have done that, as if you have the time to do so. Though by using topic sentences and doing it as you go, if you're struggling for time at the end of the paper, you can still demonstrate the things that they're looking for in the top marks. So to recap on the 16 marker, judging relative importance of a number of factors, there must be developed detail on each. You can't just talk about importance, you do need to show you know what each of the things are and reach a conclusion directly engaging with the statement. Was the NRA the most important? No, it wasn't. I think this one was, or yes it was because of these reasons. So, relative importance, lots of detail, and make a conclusion. And that's how we approach 16 markers.